Well, Johan, it's wonderful to be out at your stables this early in the morning. We start off in the second of the afternoon on this beautiful Uso Cup day. Horse number 4 is Festival Lingari with Henny Grayling aboard, and then the much vaunted number 8 Square Circle with Donovan Mansour.
Yeah, Andy, Festival Lingari's horse, he's obviously bred for a lot of ground. We actually trained him at my old stable, and she was a very talented filly. She was a full sister to Coverlook. Danny Collins has got Kilauea running with me, so I thought I might just give him another run on the day. So he's going for an outing. He's not a type of horse that we're expecting much from over 1,200 metres. And then the opposite of Square Circle, he's a nice type of a horse. The form line was frank yesterday when Star of Joburg came out and won quite nicely at the Vaal. I personally made Star of Joburg a very good thing yesterday, and we're expecting a big run from him. He's a good horse.
Okay, so to all intents and purposes, a banker for the bipod.
I would think so, Andrew. It's probably, you know, I got some really good horses running on the day, but if you see what's running in what races, he's probably my best runner on the day.
Yeah, she was very close on both occasions, Andy. It was a hard choice actually because we looked at the 2 maiden plates. There was the Fillies race, which looked very, very competitive, and this race, which is mixed, colts in it as well, but it's for like a big stake. And we felt, well, if we're in a tough race, we might as well try for the bigger money. So it's a smaller field, very competitive once again. But I think if she can just build on what she's been doing, she would be certainly involved in the finish.
First leg of the place accumulator, you've already referred it to Kalua, so let's refer to her.
Yeah, she's an exceptionally talented filly. I've only had the one run with her, and she beat a decent field for us. We're bringing her back to a 1,200. It's not, I don't think she's better over 1,200. She's definitely looking for more ground. But we got things planned for her coming early next season. And we're trying to run her in races where we're not going to get huge penalties. So even though 1,200 is too short for her, we put the blinkers back on and make it a little bit sharper. She's definitely going to be running at them in the end. And she's a type of filly, if she runs them down, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, she's come along the right way. I was very pleased with her last run. She's a little bit tricky on race day. She doesn't parade and she doesn't go down that easily. But Lyle seemed to get on very well with her last time, and I think she'll be competitive.
There just aren't any races for her, I think her trip is like a nice tough 12 between the 12 and the 14. And unfortunately, I've been through the whole program. I'm trying to get the people some black type, and so I've just tried to change the training a little bit. The 11.6 is just too quick for her. But, you never know on the day. So I got nowhere else to go. So I thought I'll give her a bash and try freshen up, keep her fresh for the race. And if we can sneak some black type, it'll be fantastic. Other than that, we'll just have to wait for the new program in January.
And she's been a good luck filly. She's won when she's been needed to win.
Yeah, no, she's done fantastically well for us. She took a very long time to come to herself, but she's won us 5 already. And really enjoyed her win here on the Fillies race on Grand Heritage Day, the WSB Fillies Sprint, which Drifting Dusk won last year. So it's nice to defend my title. So, and she won a very good race. But as I say, between 12 and 14, I cannot find anything for her. So.
Lovely. Then on to the 4th race where the Relay Cotta got absolutely no luck and deep draw. She looks much more set up to win this race, and La Bastide to back her up.
I think there are 3 fillies in the race that look very, very talented. Alec Laird, Paul Peter, and obviously Michael Azzi's fillies. I've got a lot of respect for them. However, Aurelia Cutter's last 2 runs can be discounted with confidence. I think the fact that we've had rain is going to be a very, very big advantage to her. Her coach turned at the right time. Obviously been looking for the mile plus the 1 draw. So there are a lot of positive factors. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see her right in the mix, because I think she's good enough. However, this is a proper field. La Bastide, she seems held by Alec Laird's filly. We ran second to her and we received weight. She did give me a very good last run in the fillies feature. If she doesn't improve over the distance, then she should battle.
Michael, we've chatted about Mrs. O on several occasions. We know she's very talented, but her stable companion, Sant Furman, in the words of the whisperer Matthew Stevens, could be freakish because only exceptional fillies accelerate in the manner in which she did over 1,400 metres in her debut at Turffontein. But firstly, Mrs. O.
Mrs. O is in very good space, put up some decent work this morning, so I think she's in the race with a big shot. Obviously, the coupling, Sant Furman, is a very special horse. She's a filly I think that's going to have a bright future. When I say freakish, I put her in that category. I think she's a filly that showed us phenomenal work back home. Obviously, she has to go and do it at the racecourse. We saw what she did first time out. This is her big test, and I think she's up to it.
Is this the first progeny of charge forward that you've ever trained? And I haven't seen many of them in South Africa.
No, there haven't been many of them in the country. It is the first one that I've trained of that progeny. Andrew, she's special, let's put it that way. Say no more.
I was very impressed the first run at the maiden. She was badly drawn, we dropped her out, and I was impressed to see how she made up the ground. She's taken me a very long time to get her right, so I was in sixes and sevens whether to run her, yeah, but I believe she will strengthen up with racing because she's only really become a horse in the last 2 months. So yeah, she's got a nice draw, yeah, good jock. So yeah, I'm looking for a good run.
Obviously, it's a very hot race. But you wouldn't put her in if you didn't think that she had a realistic chance.
No, for sure. I mean, I'm sure she must be pretty much as good as all of them. I mean, there's a couple of nice ones. The filly of Michael's, the Drakenstein filly, name escapes me, she won very well, her maiden. And yeah, I mean, the rest, it looks like it's a bun fight, but you know, she's also getting stronger.
Moving on to race 5, this is an incredibly competitive race. You must be very pleased with the Thinker's last performance and surely very competitive again.
Yeah, and we got a bit unlucky last time. We were slightly out of our ground, and then when he went for his run, he's got an exceptional turn of foot at last 400 to finish that horse. And when he did go for his run, unfortunately, he had a clear run, and we were beaten less than a length. I'm not sure if he's better over 1,000 or 1,200, but if we ride him similarly to we rode him last time, and I think we've got a big draw this time around, and you know, you come out the Turfentine outside fence with 52 kilograms, even though he's 1.5 kilos under sufferance. I'm not worried about that. He's a type of horse with 52 kilograms that can give a very good account of himself.
Yeah, I think two very talented horses, Andrew. Obviously, they've both got things against them. Bull Valley having the 62 kilos. We know he's good enough. I think I've got him maybe not peaking yet, but definitely very, very close at the right time. So I think it's just a question of the weight, and we are worse off with a few contemporaries that we have met before. However, it was a prep run. He only raced for 300 meters, and I think the distance maybe was flattering for the winner. Africa Rising is a very talented horse. 1200 may be a touch too sharp, but if it isn't, watch out. He'll be finishing very, very strongly.
During the course of this month build-up, you've always said to us, never mind about what you saw last time out. The next time will be the right time. I refer to a horse called Riverine, who has both Angel's Power and Splendid Garden, and Will Pays to back him up.
I think I have a strong quartet in that race, but Riverine's last run was given a very, very gentle ride by Pierre, and rightly so. You know, he was coming off the gelding, he missed the break slightly, found trouble toward the latter stages of the race, running on nicely in that race. I think he has an undeniable chance in this race. I've opted to leave Pierre on him, but I've always maintained that Riverine is a horse that has tons of ability, and the gelding has helped this horse, and this horse is going to show his true worth now. He's going to really step up to the plate. So I wouldn't be surprised if Riverine won this race. He's going to show his true worth on Saturday. Him and I have a little side bet with one another. I say that Riverine is going to beat Will Pays. He says Will Pays is going to beat Riverine. But Will Pays has it all to do. He's giving Riverine quite a bit of weight, and I think at the weight turnaround, Riverine is going to reverse it with Will Pays.
Yeah, Loyal Lieutenant coming off a maiden win might be a bit sharp for him. Vaquero done nothing wrong, and possibly a little bit on the sharp side also, but expect him to be running on. And C. Wright in his second start running in the Graham Beck was doing very, very well towards the end of the race. So I expect him to also be running on very strongly at the finish.
Yes, so unfortunately Missouri is the only one with a draw, and he's probably the weakest of the three. Silver God is a horse I've always rated. I was very pleased with his last run, shocking draw, and he came from tailed off and finished off very, very well. Unfortunately, we've got a poor draw again, and he's going to have to take his medicine and run on late. And Big Bear, I think he's talented. I'm very, very confident that he's good enough to win the race. Obviously, the draw is a concern, and we may just change our tactics to drop him out. He finished his race off very well 1200 on the poly from off them, so there's no reason for us to feel that we have to be up there. And I think maybe a change of tactics, you sort of then can, you know, keep your options open going forward. I mean, he's going to step up in distance after this, so, you know, if you can quicken up well from off them, I think it would be another avenue for us going forward.
Last time when Grant van Niekerk got off him, he said to me, had he known this was, he might very well have beaten Zen Arcade. He might have moved a touch too early.
She had a little break after the season, and I think the break's done her the world of good. She's put on 10 to 15 kilograms. She's a small filly, so that's quite big for her. She needed a run last week. The horses around her all had a prep run already, so there's massive improvement for her to make. We would have maybe liked to have our third run in the Summer Cup, but we'll be having our second run, unfortunately. But you know, I think she can get a nice draw and come in with lower weights. Obviously, maybe during the season they are rated lower than the colts, and therefore come in with a bit less weight. And whenever they meet the colts in conditions races, they get sex allowances, so they're pretty well protected in that regard. She's got a handy rating, and I think she'll be competitive with it.
Somehow, on the night of the Sansui Summer Cup draw, we didn't really get into the meat of Brazuca. We talked about a lot of other horses, but he would appear to be your stable elect. Things have mapped out really nice for him.
Yeah, Andy, listen, he loves Turfentine. He's definitely course and distance suited. A lot of people have got question marks about him staying at 2000. I definitely don't. Unfortunately, we never got a draw with him. I would have. It's not a shocking draw, and very luckily for us, we do have Gavin in the irons. Gavin knows him very well. He's ridden him a couple of times over the last couple of years. We do have Brazuca very well, probably better than we've had him most of his career at the time. And I think with a bit of luck in running, he's definitely going to be a massive runner on Saturday.
Crowd pleaser, definitely better suited to Grable and Turfentine inside track, but he's a horse with enormous talent, and things just might map out for him.
Yeah, you know, Andy, I had him in Durban the previous season as a 2-year-old, and I actually nominated him for the Summer Cup last season coming back. And at the time, he was like a maiden winner. And I remember Lawrence phoning me and he said to me, "Are you mad? What are you doing?" Like, I said, "Lawrence, this is a really talented horse. And you know me, I don't run horses out at the weights or run horses out of class." I said, "This is a talented horse. He's the type of horse that can win a Summer Cup as a 3-year-old. And during the season, in Joburg season last year, he had a couple of runs before then, and he just didn't do it for us. But listen, he's obviously maturing now. He stays very well. I don't see something that's going to be chasing him very hard early on. But yeah, at the same time, we don't know with these races. You know, sometimes people put horses in there to go make pace for them, and it might not work out for crowd pleaser. But he's definitely a horse that deserves his place in that race.
Versatility falls into the category of girl on the run. She can be placed anywhere. She shows endless amount of courage. You must be delighted to have her in the race.
Yeah, obviously when we decided to keep her in racing after the end of last season, I said to the guys, I said, she's a type of filly that we would want to aim at a race like this. So that was always the plan, to have a crack at the Summer Cup with her. The 2 wins she had before this without getting penalties was basically just bonuses. We had a well place, and the conditions of the race suited her very well. I think she's a lurker, and I don't think she's going to run far off them, if she runs off them at all. He's exceptionally well. He's put up some good work from a charity mile up to now. I still think he needed the charity mile a little bit more than I thought. He needed the spring challenge, which was the initial aim. He needed that quite a lot more than what we thought. Then the charity mile last time, I think he still needed it slightly. So yeah, listen, we might just have him fitness-wise. We might just have him spot on for this race. He's a very big horse, and he really does take a lot of work. And because he's such a big, heavy type horse, and he doesn't have the greatest legs, he's not a type of horse we can drill at home all the time. So yeah, like I said, this race might just come in time, and you know, might just be racing fit now only.
Yeah, he's done exceptionally well. You know, he had a serious knee injury after winning at Turfentine a good year and a half ago about. And we thought maybe never ever come back to racing, but we left him alone, and he's come back and he's paid Colin and Sylvia back very kindly. Drawn very badly, and he is a bit quirky and he's running around a bit, but he did exceptionally well. And as I said, he's done well for us, and whatever he does in the Summer Cup, we'll take it, and let's hope he runs a good one. Hopefully be running on very strong at the end of the race.
I think everything's gone very smoothly. Obviously, Liege threw us a curveball in the Victory Moon. It was a very disappointing run, and I'd almost hoped that Witchcraft had got in ahead of him based on his disappointing run in the Victory Moon. However, his preps has gone smoothly. He's got a good draw. He's got a lovely weight. We know he enjoys the course and distance, so we are just hoping that was just maybe a flat run for some reason. Tilbury Fort, everything has gone very, very smoothly. His improved a lot. He's way fitter than what he was for his prep run. The same goes for French Navy. And yeah, I think social order stepping up to that distance is a question mark, and he's taken a big hike in the merit ratings, but I think he is a horse that's got the ability. Yeah, I'm very, very comfortable with where they're at for the race. Unfortunately, French Navy, who would have been my elect, is drawn in the bushes.
It is what it is. We draw 19, and we must take it on the chin and be men about it, and we have to deal with it. You know, this horse loves Carl, and Carl loves this horse, and he runs his best races for Carl. And I have every bit of confidence in Carl, because the only thing Carl has to do is not move on the hill. Find his position, be comfortable with the horse in the race, don't panic, wait until he turns for home, balance him up in the straight and make his move. The one thing that we don't have to do is panic up the hill, because to move up the hill at Turffontein Racecourse is suicide. And if we're good enough, and it's meant to be, it will be. And if it's not, so be it.
Well, the one beautiful thing about it is that you are part of history as a Triple Crown winner. And history has an uncanny knack of repeating itself, because Louis the King, with 59.5 kilograms on his back, a year after the Triple Crown, found his best form on Sansui Summer Cup Day.
Absolutely, Andrew. And, you know, obviously he was a great horse, and he saved it for Summer Cup Day. Jeff, being the Summer Cup king, brought his horse back from the dead. Everyone had written him off, and he delivered. And, you know, everyone has written this horse off. He delivered his first run back, showed that he had the ability, and he came back on Summer Cup Day and did it. And wouldn't it be nice for Abashiri just to come back and, being the people's horse, to show people he's still a darling and he has got the ability, and to do it for everyone.
You know, and he's a very understated little horse. I think his best win ever was the Derby Trial, when close to top weight he won emphatically that day, course and distance suited. And then obviously the good run in the Derby behind El Sahim. So, I mean, if you're looking for good form, I mean, you don't need to look too far, you know, on his page. But I was very happy with his prep run. Inside track is not his track. Pinnacle Plate, he wasn't particularly well treated at the weights. He ran to my expectations, I think, in as much as I just wanted to see a forward run from him, which we got. And I'd say he's improved quite substantially from there.
Master Switch is looking absolutely outstanding, and I have to say that his preparation has been faultless.
Ran a super race with Pierre, and Pierre's back on him now. I think he's very much alive in the race.
Her name is really what she is. She is a giver. We know she's extremely talented, but not devoid of problems.
Yeah, and she's just a filly that doesn't seem to train exceptionally well at the Vaal. Every time I take her to Durban, she comes sounder. She obviously enjoys the tracks at Ashburton better than the Vaal tracks. We're not going exceptionally well with it at the moment, so I can't be too confident. If anything doesn't go right from now until Saturday, obviously I'm not going to take a chance with a filly like this. We'll make sure by Friday afternoon the vet will trot up, and if we're not 100% happy with her, we'll take her out. But I do think at the end of the day, Another Rush is the right filly in that race.
Yeah, I think they're probably all at the bottom of the boards. I think Tahini's run was exceptional in the Charity Mile. She was a little unlucky. Maybe should have been a bit closer. So on that run, I would say she might be the right one of the three. Intergalactic has met this class before and coped well. However, I mean, a filly like Michael's is only on the up, and we maybe in our place, and Heaps of Fun is coming off a rest, so we can't have a lot of confidence. Hope we could run into the money. Maybe Tahini's the elect.
Another Russia, well, her form speaks for itself. I thought she was impressive enough when she won that 1400 at Turffontein. And I imagine the confidence is there with her. And if she's near her best, she really ought to win. But if she's not, I think any one of our three is sort of there to pick up the pieces. Look, the 5 races that she won on the bounce were obviously a much weaker company. You know, this is a real test. I mean, to all intents and purposes, this could just as easily be a Grade 1, I think.
And then finally, the 9th race of the afternoon, the Listed Racing Association handicap over 2 miles. It's not a particularly strong field, and Super Tube's day must come sometime.
Yes, let's say that the rain has come to save Super Tube. He does battle in the firmer conditions, and you know, his record will show you that. And I'm thankful that the rain has come, and he should maybe be a little bit more competitive, the fact that there has been a downpour.
And then, of course, with the disappointment of Banner Hill, hopefully Gone Baby Gone will be able to restore some kind of joy to the colours that were to be carried in the Sansui Summer Cup.
Sure, I really do feel for Sunil and Ashney, and of course the Martins. You know, it's just unfortunate what happened with Banner Hill, but yeah, I think Gone Baby Gone, another one, pulled out of a unintended start because of virus, but came back very, very well a couple of weeks ago at the Vaal. He ran second there, and his blood count was getting there, but it was nowhere near what it is now. And you know, he's proven himself. I think he's proven that he stays at any rate. And I think off middle draw, middleweight, he's pretty much he's a smart little horse. 3-2 Turfentine, very testing. But I thought it is the type of field where, you know, some of the older horses are, you know, the weight's getting to them a bit. I don't know how strong the race is. I thought it was winnable.
Then you're very, very strong in race 10 with Dusa and Irish Pride. I've got a slight leaning towards Irish Pride, but maybe tell us.
Yeah, and the Dusa actually gave me a cracking run last time. He was definitely going to need it a bit. I didn't expect you to run second that night. I thought we'll run about 2-3 lengths off them and probably run about 4th or 5th. So he did run above my expectation last time, coming off a layoff. At the same time, we got a point penalty, which I guess is fair. But this makes it more difficult for him now, going a mile with an extra half a kilogram. Irish Pride, he's obviously well in at the handicap now. He's been winning races of a higher rating than he's running off now. And I thought he ran a crack in the charity mile, even though Donovan probably went a little bit harder early on because we didn't want to interfere with New Predator in that race. And I think if he rode the race for himself today, he probably could have just about... or he could have gone very close, let's put it like that. Take nothing away from the horses that ran first, second and third. But yeah, I thought it was a cracking run, and obviously now there's less pressure on him in the stopper race, and he's working really well. I think there's very little between him and Dusra.
Count Silo's question mark over the mile. Obviously the softer conditions are not going to make it any easier. There is rain expected on the day. So no, I don't think we can rely on him, but it's certainly... worth taking a chance. He did run on the weekend, but he's taken his run well, and we are leaning towards running him at this stage. He would certainly have a chance. No real confidence with anything on the day, but preparations have gone very smoothly, and hopefully we can get our hands on a piece of the pie.